Picture this, a young boy, barely 10 years old, watching his father being poisoned by rival tribesmen, left to fend for himself in the harsh Mongolian steppes. This boy would grow up to become one of history's most powerful rulers, Genghis Khan. Born as Temüjin around 1162, his early life was a masterclass in survival. Abandoned by his clan, he and his family ate rats, marmots, and wild berries just to stay alive. But this hardship didn't break him. It forged him into steel. Imagine being betrayed by your childhood best friend, then having your new wife kidnapped by a rival tribe. These weren't just stories for Temüjin, they were his reality. But each setback only fueled his determination. He learned that in the steppes, loyalty was as precious as water in the desert. What made him different from other tribal leaders was his revolutionary thinking. In a world where bloodline determined everything, Genghis Khan promoted people based on loyalty and skill. A former slave could become a general in his army if they proved their worth. This meritocracy was unheard of in the 12th century. His military innovations were equally remarkable. While other armies were rigid and hierarchical, he organized his forces into flexible units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, the decimal system we take for granted today. His armies could communicate across vast distances using a sophisticated relay system of horsemen. But here's the twist that most people don't know. Despite his reputation for brutality, Genghis Khan was also a surprisingly progressive ruler. He established the first international postal system, protected religious freedom, and promoted trade along the Silk Road. He understood that true power came not just from conquest, but from building sustainable systems. By the time of his death in 1227, he had united the warring tribes of Mongolia and created the largest contiguous land empire in history, from a starving boy eating rodents to ruling an empire stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Now that's what you call a comeback story. The legacy of Genghis Khan reminds us that our beginnings don't define our endings. Sometimes the harshest circumstances create the strongest leaders. His rise wasn't just about conquest, it was about vision, innovation, and the ability to turn every setback into a setup for something greater.